Hi girls, I am truly happy you've returned to listen to another episode of mine. I work incredibly hard to create this content for you, spending hours researching the deepest, often hidden mechanics of the human psyche to give you a real edge in your life and relationships. So please, if you find value in these insights, take a second to leave a like on this video. It really helps the YouTube algorithm recognize the importance of our community and promote these videos to more women who are ready to step into their power. And if you have questions or a specific story you want to share, feel free to comment. I read every single one of them, and it makes me so happy to see how much you are enjoying and growing from this content. Today, we are diving deep into the Trojan vulnerability effect. 1. The paradox of the strong woman. We live in an era that worships the boss babe archetype. We are told to be impenetrable, to never let our guard down, and to show the world that we don't need anyone. While this is great for your bank account and your career, it is often a catastrophic strategy for deep, high-level romantic influence. Why? Because power that is constantly on display creates a defensive response in others. When you present yourself as a fortress with no cracks, you aren't inviting love, you are inviting a siege. A man looking at a perfect, self-sufficient woman doesn't feel attracted. He feels redundant. He looks at you and thinks, "There is no seat for me at this table." The Trojan vulnerability effect is based on a profound psychological pivot. The realization that true influence doesn't come from pushing, but from pulling. It is the strategic use of a controlled weakness to bypass a man's ego, drop his defenses, and make him emotionally dependent on the feeling of being your protector. 2. The science of the hero instinct and the pratfall effect. To master this, we have to look at two core psychological principles. First is the hero instinct. Evolutionarily, men are biologically wired to seek validation through provision and protection. When a man feels he is saving you, even in a small way, his brain releases a cocktail of dopamine and vasopressin. He becomes chemically bonded to the person he is protecting. The second is the pratfall effect. Social psychology shows that people who are perceived as highly competent or high status become infinitely more likable and relatable when they commit a small blunder or reveal a minor flaw. If you are perfect, you are a statue. If you are perfect with a small crack, you are a human being he can fall in love with. The Trojan vulnerability is that specific, intentional crack. 3. How the Trojan works. Think of the legend of Troy. The Greeks couldn't take the city by force because the walls were too high, so they gifted a giant wooden horse. The Trojans, blinded by their own ego and the perceived victory, brought the horse inside their own walls. When you show a man a strategic weakness, you are giving him a gift for his ego. He thinks, "Wow, this amazing, beautiful, successful woman has a flaw that only I can see. She needs me." The moment he identifies as your helper or advisor, his psychological guard vanishes. He is no longer competing with you. He is invested in you. You have successfully entered his internal emotional world under the guise of being vulnerable. 4. Choosing your Trojan horse, the selection process. This is where most women get it wrong. Vulnerability is not dumping your trauma or being a mess. That is low-value behavior. A Trojan vulnerability must be selective, non-damaging, and ego-boosting for him. The competence pivot. If you are a CEO, don't tell him you're bad at your job. Instead, show vulnerability about a soft skill. "I can lead a boardroom of 50 people, but for some reason, I get so shy when I have to speak to a stranger in a coffee shop." This makes your strength seem more impressive because it's contrasted with a cute human flaw. The physical anchor. Men love physical utility. Even if you can open that jar or change that tire, sometimes not doing it is the more powerful move. Letting him exert physical strength on your behalf is the fastest way to trigger his protective instincts. The emotional secret. Reveal a small fear that has no bearing on your actual life. "I know it's silly, but I've always been a little bit afraid of the dark thunder elevators." It gives him a constant, easy opportunity to provide comfort. 5. The execution, the 3-step loop. To make this permanent, you must use the vulnerability validation loop. The reveal, share the weakness in a moment of quiet intimacy. Make it feel like a privilege for him to know this. I don't usually tell people this, but the request optional. Ask for his help or perspective. Can you just stay on the phone with me while I walk to my car? I feel a bit nervous tonight. The high-intensity validation. This is the most important step. Once he saves you, you must provide a massive hit of ego reinforcement. I don't know why, but I always feel so much safer when you're around. You have this very grounding energy. 6. The shift of power. While he thinks he is the one in control because he is the protector, the reality is the opposite. You have dictated the terms of the relationship. He is now performing for your approval. He will start to go out of his way to find more ways to save you. He will become hyper-attentive to your needs because his own self-worth is now tied to how well he takes care of you. The beauty of the Trojan vulnerability is that it allows you to remain the high-value woman you are while giving him the space to be the man he wants to be. You aren't losing power. You are delegating the labor of the relationship to his ego, while you remain the architect of the connection.